For Kitchener Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Attorney General. Last week, the government announced their plan to cut 30% of legal aid's budget. Legal aid helps people to obtain Social Security benefits. It helps tenants get necessary repairs done to their homes and workers to get the wages that they're owed. It helps victims of domestic violence pursue justice, and it helps single parents get the child support that they deserve. Legal aid ensures that everyone in Ontario has access to justice, regardless of their status or their income. Why is the minister doing everything in her power to reduce people's access to justice?
Question is to the Attorney General. Please take your seats.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I agree with the member opposite. Legal aid provides vital services for lower-income Ontarians in all sorts of areas. But for the last 5 years, Mr. Speaker, we have seen the provincial government spend more and more money on legal aid, while fewer and fewer people have been receiving service. That, Mr. Speaker, isn't access to justice. Mr. Speaker, we believe that the Auditor General, which did a complete review of legal aid, proposed 15 worthwhile recommendations. And so we're calling on legal aid to implement those 15 recommendations. We will work with legal aid through this transition to make sure that those in need of legal aid services are able to get it. But, Mr. Speaker, we're asking legal aid to find 5 cents on every dollar in savings to implement those when the federal government meets its responsibilities and funds legal aid services for immigrants and refugees before federal courts and tribunals. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And back to the Attorney General. The minister must recognize that these cuts go much, much deeper than their cruel abandonment of people seeking asylum from war and persecution. This cut will hurt tenants seeking redress from negligent landlords. It's going to hurt people living with disabilities who have been denied ODSP coverage. And it will hurt parents who are trying to get the child support for their kids. Lawyers, legal experts across the province have expressed serious concern about this government's gutting of legal aid through this budget. The Law Society of Ontario, the Refugee Lawyers Association of Ontario, Amnesty International, and other legal experts have all come out against this government's attack on our constitutional right to access our justice system. Will the minister listen to the experts who warn that the government's deep cuts are going to put people's lives at risk and reverse her callous decision?
Members, please take their seats. The Attorney General to reply once again.
Mr. Speaker, I will repeat what I said in my first answer. For the last 5 years, legal aid has spent $86 million more, and more than 100,000 fewer people have received access to those services. Mr. Speaker, that doesn't make any sense. What legal aid needs is historic, fundamental reform. Lawyers are overbilling with no transparency and no oversight, Mr. Speaker. I don't know why the member opposite doesn't think that Ontario taxpayers deserve a system that works for lower-income Ontarians while respecting the money that is invested into this program and also has necessary oversight. It is a $400 million program that should be working at a very high efficiency level that has not been working well, Mr. Speaker. The Auditor General spent a lot of time going through the different programs and initiatives at Legal Aid Ontario. We're calling on Legal Aid to implement those recommendations, and my ministry will work closely with them to make sure that lower-income Ontarians continue to have the access to justice that they need. Thank you.
Question.